I remember a few years back when there's somebody set off a bomb at the was it Olympics or something there in Atlanta. Turns out it was somebody that lived down the street from Aunt Ruby. They finally caught him. He was started hiding up in the mountains there, and they caught him over in Murphy, which is two towns over. One night he was going through a dumpster looking for food to take back up on the mountain with him. But they finally caught him. And the stupid guy, he didn't even have no reason for setting that bomb off. He didn't have no agenda. He just did it for the fun of it. Gee whiz. Crazy people. Crazy people. And one of my wife's sisters, Reba, she married, let's see now, they were cousins. John Grant and Reba were first cousins. And they got married. They got married. And he was a flake. He was a flake. And that family, I don't know, John and Reba had 3 daughters. And one daughter left out of there and never went back. They didn't know I know where she's at now, but they didn't. And the reason she left was because her daddy, John, raped her. But after she left and Reba died, he fathered a child with one of his other daughters, Audrey. And if anybody from that family sees this and they don't like it, then sue me. See what you get. All that dirty laundry will come out. But I blame the family for a lot of that, for letting him get away with it. Everybody knew it. So some of those people up there, a lot of them are good people. But there's some of them up there, no sir. And if I'd have known about John raping his oldest daughter and getting his other daughter pregnant before he died, I would have got back on. I talked to him on the internet, on what was it, Facebook and stuff, and like when I asked him where Diane was, he said, I don't know, I hadn't seen her in 25 years. Well, why did she leave? I don't know, he said. Well, I'd have dang sure called him on it. But the family let him get away with it. One of my wife's other sister, her husband, he was another flake. The reason he didn't like me when I first went up there was because me and my wife got married. And she was babysitting for them for a couple of years. She's only getting $10 a week. And I think he had plans about molesting my wife. I think that's why he didn't like me. And I know he slept with one of my other sister-in-laws. I won't get into that. But some of them people are just nutso. I mean, there was one guy, his name was Cletus Gasaway. He didn't like me. And I don't know why, because the first time I ever went up there, I didn't have a car. So I rode the Trailways bus up there, not realizing just how remote all that place was up there. And Cletus seen me walking down. I got off the bus about 8 miles from where my wife lives. And I got directions from the guy there at the little post office and bus station thing that was there. But it was just a general store. And he told me how to get, so I started walking. And I walked about 3 or 4 miles. And I was in uniform. I was still in the Army. And Cletus stopped and asked me if I needed a ride, where was I going, and I told him. He said, "Oh, that's up there at Emmett's place. That's his daughter." So he loaded me up in his pickup truck, which I had to get in the back because he had his wife up front, but his daughter and son was in the back. And they took me up there, right up to her house. But he didn't like me. I don't know why. But he started a rumor when me and my wife got married. He started a rumor that that I was married to another woman in Florida. And the reason I know he started it, somebody else come up in the family and said, are you married to somebody else? And he said, "Well, I heard you are." And I said, "Well, heck no, I ain't never been married in my life." I said, "Where did that come from?" He said, "Well, that's what Cletus Gasaway told me." That was a trip. But I loved it up there. I lived up there for quite a few years. I wish that I never left. And tell you the truth, I've only got one sister-in-law left, and it's the youngest one. The oldest one just died recently, Gay. It's the youngest one, and I always felt kind of like she was my daughter. She stayed with us a lot and everything, and I just loved her to death. And if she wasn't, the thoughts crossed my mind. She'd been married 3 or 4 times, and she's got 2 kids. I would love to be living with her Not for sex or anything like that. I would just like to be living with her like a common law wife, but without all the stuff that goes with it. I love that girl so much. And chances are I'll probably never see her again before I die. And you know, one time, one time, she come to stay with us, me and my wife, and one of my nephews on my wife's side. And it was crowded. We needed a bigger place. So we found a bigger place, found a 4-bedroom mobile home. And we was moved in, we was getting settled in, and I went out there. I don't know what it was. We was putting something under the house, and my nephew, Charlie, he said, I don't know what me and him disagreed about, but I told him, like, you little fool, that's what I said. And boy, that flew all over Annie. And she was standing there with a bottle of Coke, about half full. And she throwed that thing at me. It went by my head.